Superman stands in the darkened alleyway, his cape fluttering in the wind, eyes fixed on the unrecognizable alien craft hovering above the city. This wasn't just any ordinary alien. This was Zorath-Ik, an ancient and powerful king from a long-forgotten galaxy. He came not with an invasion, but with an offer that Superman couldn't refuse, a deal that would change everything. As a hero who's always put the needs of Earth first, Superman was used to the burden of making tough choices. But when Zorath-Ik appeared and offered something Superman had never heard of, the key to saving the last of his race, Krypton, it was a temptation he couldn't ignore. The catch? He had to betray the very world he had sworn to protect. And that's exactly what he did. The deal unfolds. Superman had always been a beacon of hope. For years he had fought for justice, guided by the unwavering belief that doing the right thing was always the most important pursuit. But now, standing in front of Zorath-Ik, an ancient and powerful alien king, he felt the weight of his past choices pressing down on him like never before. Zorath-Ik wasn't like the other alien Superman had faced. He wasn't a conqueror with armies seeking to plunder Earth. He wasn't driven by greed or ambition to destroy. No, Zorath-Ik came with an offer that would change everything. The alien king stood in front of Superman, his glowing red eyes piercing through the sunlight. His armor shimmered with a dark metallic sheen, reflecting the bright day in sharp contrasts. He wasn't just an imposing figure physically. There was an aura around him that radiated both power and wisdom. He spoke with a calm, measured voice, a voice that felt like it resonated through the very air itself. "I know what you seek, Superman," Zorath-Ik began, his voice low and deliberate. "You carry the burden of your people, the last remnants of Krypton. Your planet is gone, but there is a way to bring it back, a way to restore your world. You, the last of your kind, can still bring your people into existence once again." Superman's heart skipped a beat. He had long ago accepted that Krypton's destruction was irreversible, that the dreams of a reborn world for his people were nothing more than memories locked within him. But the idea that Krypton could be restored, that his home, his family, could somehow be saved, was a temptation so strong that it nearly broke him. Zorath-Ik continued, "I hold the power to do this, to recreate Krypton, but I need something in return. I need Earth's secret." Superman's brow furrowed in confusion. "What do you mean, Earth's secret?" Zorath-Ik's lips curled into a slight smile, as if he had been waiting for that very question. "You know of the artifact, Superman, the cosmic relic hidden within Earth's core, the source of its immense power, the one that keeps this planet alive, that controls the balance of energies between space and time. I can use it to rebuild Krypton, but I must have access to it." Superman's mind raced. He had heard rumors of the artifact, stories passed down from his father, Jor-El. It was said to be a key to unimaginable power, the very thing that allowed Earth to maintain its position within the universe. It was a force that could change the course of history. No one, not even the most powerful beings in the universe, truly understood its full potential. But to give Zorath-Ik access to that power, it would be a betrayal of everything Superman stood for. Earth's survival was tied to that artifact. If the wrong hands got a hold of it, the consequences could be catastrophic. "I can't just hand over the artifact," Superman said, his voice firm. "It's not just a key to power. It's a piece of Earth's soul. I can't risk that." Zorath-Ik's eyes glowed brighter, and his voice lowered to a whisper, almost as if speaking to Superman's deepest fears. "Do you think your planet will survive much longer, Superman? Earth is on the edge. The forces at play in the universe are greater than you can fathom. You have only one choice. Help me, and I will restore Krypton. Refuse, and your world will fall." For a moment, Superman stood there, paralyzed by the weight of the decision before him. He could feel the pull of his Kryptonian heritage, the desperate need to see his people rise again. The idea of returning to a world that was lost, of giving his father's vision another chance, was more than he could bear. Zorath-Ik stepped closer, his presence overwhelming. "You have the power to save everything you love, Superman. Your choice will determine not just your fate, but the fate of your people." Superman closed his eyes, the weight of a decision settling in his chest. It wasn't just about Krypton. It wasn't just about saving his people. It was about understanding that sometimes the greatest sacrifices came with the highest costs. Was he willing to risk Earth's future to secure his past? He opened his eyes and met Zorath-Ik's gaze. The king's eyes bore into his soul, as though seeing into the very core of who he was. "I'll do it," Superman finally said, his voice barely above a whisper. "I'll help you. I'll give you access to the artifact. But I need your word that you will not destroy Earth. You will leave this world intact." Zorath-Ik smiled, a cold, calculated smile. "You have my word, Superman. But remember, the future always comes with a price." As the deal was sealed, Superman's heart heavy with doubt. He couldn't shake the feeling that he had just crossed a line from which there was no return. The choice was made, and the weight of the secret he had just sold to an alien king hung over him, ready to unravel everything he had fought for. The consequences were still unknown, but the path ahead would be one that would test Superman in ways he had never imagined. The betrayal. The air in the Justice League watchtower was thick with tension. Superman stood before his fellow heroes, each one staring at him with a mixture of disbelief and fury. The bright lights of the watchtower's main chamber only served to highlight the stark contrast between the normally resolute Superman and the figure now standing before them. His chest was heavy, his posture stiff, and his eyes avoided their gazes. This wasn't the man they had trusted for years. This wasn't the symbol of hope that had fought beside them in countless battles. "Clark," Batman's voice was sharp, cutting through the silence. "What did you do?" Superman shifted uncomfortably, his fists clenching at his sides. He could feel the weight of their stares, their betrayal, pressing down on him like a physical force. He had been so sure when he made the deal with Zorath-Ik, so convinced that restoring Krypton was the right thing to do. But now, standing here, facing the team that had always been his family, his heart twisted with doubt. "It wasn't supposed to go like this," Superman muttered, his voice barely audible. His eyes finally met Batman's, though he could see the judgment written across the Dark Knight's face. "I had to do it. You don't understand. I didn't have a choice." "A choice?" Wonder Woman's voice was filled with incredulity. "You handed over Earth's greatest secret to an alien king. You endangered everyone. You risked everything for what? Your personal grief." Superman's heart sank at her words, and he felt a pang of guilt. He had been so blinded by the hope of bringing Krypton back to life that he hadn't fully grasped the enormity of what he had done. He had been foolish to think that this would all be worth it. "It wasn't just for me," Superman said, his voice growing more desperate. "It's for us. It's for humanity." Zorath-Ik promised he wouldn't destroy Earth. He said he would leave us alone, but he needed access to the artifact. "That's all. I thought it was the only way." "Did you think we wouldn't find out?" Green Lantern interjected, his eyes burning with anger. "You think we can just overlook the fact that you made a deal with an alien warlord, without even consulting us first?" The room was filled with the sound of deep, angry breaths. Superman could see the disbelief in their eyes, and it crushed him further. These were the people who had stood by him, through thick and thin. The Justice League had fought countless battles together, and they had always trusted him, until now. "Superman, you should have come to us," Flash said, his voice more calm but still laced with frustration. "We're a team. We make decisions together. You don't just go behind our backs and make deals with enemies, especially ones we don't even know." The weight of their words hit Superman like a sledgehammer. He had always prided himself on being a beacon of light for humanity, someone they could rely on. But now he had become the very thing he had always fought against, a person who betrayed their trust. The guilt, the shame, it was overwhelming. "I thought I could fix it," Superman said, his voice shaking. "I thought I could bring Krypton back. That maybe if I could just make one thing right, I wouldn't have to carry this burden anymore. But I never realized the price." "Price?" Batman scoffed. "You've already paid the price, Clark. You've put Earth in jeopardy for a chance to resurrect a dead world. And now we all have to deal with the fallout." Superman turned away, his hands pressed against his face as he felt the weight of their accusations. He had hurt them, and worse, he had hurt the world. The deal he made with Zorath-Ik wasn't just a personal mistake. It had shattered the very foundation of trust they had built over years of fighting side by side. In the silence that followed, Superman felt an overwhelming sense of loss. The very thing that had made him powerful, his sense of duty to protect Earth, had become the thing that now threatened its destruction. He had handed over Earth's greatest secret, its lifeblood, to a being whose true motives were still unknown. The Justice League stood in stunned silence, none of them knowing what to say next. It was clear that the rift between them was deep, and no easy reconciliation could bridge the gap. Superman had crossed a line that might never be undone. "Clark, we need to stop Zorath-Ik," Wonder Woman said, her voice softer now, but her resolve unwavering. "You've made your mistake, but we can't let this alien king use the artifact to destroy everything we've fought for." Superman nodded slowly, the weight of the moment sinking in. "I'll make it right. I'll help you stop him. I swear." But even as the words left his mouth, he couldn't help but wonder if it was too late. He had already made a deal that could destroy everything he had ever cared about. And now, with his team turning their backs on him, he had no idea how to undo the damage. The betrayal wasn't just from Zorath-Ik anymore. It was from himself. The King's plan unfolds. The watchtower buzzed with activity as the Justice League scrambled to assess the damage. While the room was filled with tension and frantic discussions, Superman stood silently in the corner, his mind reeling. The weight of his betrayal hung heavily around him, but his resolve to stop Zorath-Ik's plan was the only thing that kept him from falling apart completely. Batman paced back and forth, analyzing data on a holographic screen. Zorath-Ik is manipulating the artifact's energy, using it to tap into Earth's core. The power he's siphoning could destabilize the planet. "We don't know how long we have before it's too late." Superman's eyes widened. Earth's core, the very thing that had allowed humanity to thrive, and now it was in danger because of him. Wonder Woman stepped forward, her eyes burning with determination. "We need to find Zorath-Ik. He's not just trying to control the artifact. He's trying to reshape the universe in his image. We have to stop him before he unlocks its true potential." Superman nodded, though every word felt like a betrayal to him. Zorath-Ik had promised he wouldn't destroy Earth. But now, with the artifact's power under his control, the alien king had begun to reshape the very fabric of reality itself, manipulating space-time and energies that even the Justice League couldn't comprehend. "We've traced Zorath-Ik's location," Batman said, his voice low and controlled. "He's at a secret facility beneath the surface of Earth's oceans. We'll need to go in fast and hit him hard, or we risk losing everything." Superman's heart raced. The mission wasn't just a tactical operation anymore. It was a race against time to undo the damage he had done. His mistake had led them here, and now it was up to him to fix it. But even as the plan took shape, doubt gnawed at him. What if it was already too late? What if Zorath-Ik's plan was already unstoppable? Meanwhile, deep beneath the surface of Earth, in a hidden cavern surrounded by ancient alien technology, Zorath-Ik stood before the cosmic artifact. It glowed with a malevolent energy, pulses of light rippling through the walls of the cavern. The alien king's face remained impassive, his eyes fixed on the swirling power as it grew stronger with every moment. "You've made the right choice, Superman," Zorath-Ik whispered to himself, his voice almost a reverent murmur. He had promised Superman that he would not destroy Earth, and he intended to keep that promise, for now. But that didn't mean he wouldn't bend the rules to achieve his ultimate goal. The artifact, once dormant and hidden within Earth's core, was now responding to Zorath-Ik's control, channeling its vast cosmic energy. He had begun unlocking its secrets, piecing together the true nature of the power it could unleash. It was not just a tool for manipulation. It was a key to a gateway that could collapse entire realities and fold the very fabric of time itself. Zorath-Ik knew this power would be his to command. With it, he could rewrite the universe to fit his vision, a vision of a kingdom that stretched across dimensions, ruling over all life and death. His people would be reborn, their world restored, not in the image of Krypton, but in the perfect form of his own making. Back on the surface, the Justice League was preparing to move out. Superman had distanced himself from the team, lost in his thoughts. He had made the mistake. He had brought Zorath-Ik to Earth, and now he would be the one to stop him, no matter the cost. The journey to the facility beneath the ocean was grueling, a race against the clock. Superman's heart pounded with every passing moment, the image of Zorath-Ik's cold eyes haunting him. He had promised to fix this, but the truth was he wasn't sure how. As they approached the location, the underwater base loomed in front of them, an alien fortress submerged in the depths. The walls were adorned with strange glyphs and symbols, glowing faintly as they moved forward. Zorath-Ik's influence was everywhere. The very air felt thick with a strange energy, as if reality itself were starting to warp. Superman clenched his fists. The team was depending on him, but more than that, he depended on himself. He couldn't fail them again. He couldn't fail Earth. "Stay sharp," Batman said, as they approached the entrance to the cavern. Zorath-Ik won't be alone. But Superman already knew that. The alien king had amassed an army, a force of soldiers enhanced by the artifact's power. They were prepared to fight to the death to see his vision realized. And the Justice League would need everything they had to stop them. As they entered the cavern, the team was met with the sight of Zorath-Ik standing before the artifact, his hands raised in an almost ritualistic gesture. The alien king's eyes burned with an intensity that shook the air itself. "You've come, Superman," Zorath-Ik said, his voice echoing in the vast chamber. "But it's too late. The power is mine now. You've given me the means to reshape everything. Your world, your people, all of it. It's all part of my plan." Superman's heart twisted as he faced the consequences of his actions. Zorath-Ik's power was now beyond anything he could have imagined. The alien king had already begun to alter the very nature of reality itself. The final confrontation had begun, and this time, there was no turning back. Zorath-Ik had set his plan into motion, and now Superman and the Justice League had only one chance to stop him before the entire universe was reshaped according to the alien king's dark vision. Would they succeed, or had Superman's betrayal already doomed them all? The air inside the cavern was thick with tension. The Justice League stood on the precipice of a battle that would determine the fate of the Earth and the universe itself. Zorath-Ik, standing before the artifact, was a dark figure bathed in cosmic energy. His eyes, burning with a fierce red glow, reflected the immense power he now commanded. The alien king had done what no one had thought possible. He had tapped into the artifact's vast, reality-altering energy, and was now on the verge of rewriting everything. Superman's heart pounded in his chest as he faced the very being he had inadvertently empowered. His betrayal of Earth now stood before him in the form of Zorath-Ik, and the weight of his actions was unbearable. The lives of billions rested on his shoulders, and the man who had always been their beacon of hope now stood fractured, uncertain, and on the verge of losing everything. "You should have never trusted me, Superman," Zorath-Ik said, his voice reverberating with cosmic power. "But you did, and now you will witness the fruits of your mistake. This world, your world, will crumble beneath my rule, and there is nothing you can do to stop it." The alien king's voice echoed through the chamber, his words seeping into Superman's mind. For a moment, doubt crept into Superman's heart. Had he truly doomed the world? Had his decision to save his lost home, Krypton, been the catalyst for Earth's destruction? But then he remembered why he fought. He remembered the people of Earth, the friends and family who believed in him. He couldn't let this be the end. Not like this. "We're not giving up," Superman declared, his voice strong, despite the storm of emotion raging inside him. He turned to the Justice League, who were ready to follow his lead. "I've made mistakes, but I won't make another one. This ends now." With those words, the battle began. Zorath-Ik unleashed a surge of energy, ripping through the cavern and sending shockwaves that cracked the ground beneath their feet. Superman darted forward, but the alien king was ready. He summoned a wave of destructive power, slamming into Superman with such force that he was thrown back into the wall of the cavern. "Fool," Zorath-Ik sneered. "You think you can stop me now? You are nothing without your powers, and the artifact is mine." But Superman was not alone. The Justice League launched into action, coordinating their attacks with precision. Wonder Woman charged forward, her sword clashing against the alien king's energy shields. Batman, ever the strategist, disabled the control systems around the cavern while Cyborg hacked into Zorath-Ik's forces, weakening their defenses. Aquaman and Flash worked together to redirect energy surges, preventing them from reaching critical points in the cavern structure. Yet, Zorath-Ik was relentless. He had grown more powerful with each passing moment, feeding off the artifact's energies. Superman knew that only one thing could stop him: the artifact itself. "We need to destroy it," Superman shouted. "I'm on it," Batman replied, launching a well-placed strike at the artifact's core. But Zorath-Ik had anticipated this. He summoned a wave of dark energy, knocking Batman back and protecting the artifact from any further attacks. Superman, seeing no other choice, made a desperate decision. He gathered every ounce of strength he had left, pushing past the physical and emotional toll of the battle. He rushed toward Zorath-Ik, his fist crackling with raw, cosmic energy. "This is it, Zorath-Ik," Superman said, his voice steady but fierce. "I'm taking back what I gave you." With one final burst of energy, Superman collided with the alien king, their powers clashing in a brilliant explosion of light and force. The ground beneath them cracked open as Zorath-Ik was hurled back, momentarily stunned. Superman took his chance. He reached the artifact, now pulsing with violent energy. With a deep breath, he extended his hand and touched its surface. In that moment, he felt the power of the artifact surge through him, a tide of energy so intense that it threatened to consume him. But he wasn't just Superman anymore. He was the protector of Earth, and that gave him the strength to do what was necessary. He focused all his willpower on the artifact, using everything he had left to undo the damage he had caused. Slowly but surely, he began to drain the artifact's power, redirecting it back into the core of the Earth. Zorath-Ik screamed in fury, realizing his control over the artifact was slipping. The energy he had harnessed began to fade, and with it, the power he had amassed. "No, you can't," Zorath-Ik shouted, but it was too late. Superman's will proved stronger than the king's dark ambitions. With a final mighty push, Superman released the artifact's energy back into Earth's core, stabilizing the planet's energy flow and neutralizing Zorath-Ik's power. The cavern began to collapse around them as the forces of reality rebalanced. Zorath-Ik, stripped of his cosmic power, fell to his knees, defeated. "You've ruined everything." Superman, bruised and battered, but resolute, turned to the Justice League. "It's over. We've won." But even as the battle ended, Superman felt no sense of triumph. The destruction he had caused, the trust he had broken, those scars would remain. Redemption, he realized, was a long road, one that would take more than one victory. As Zorath-Ik was taken into custody, the Justice League stood together, their unity unbroken despite the chaos they had just endured. Superman had redeemed himself in the eyes of his teammates, but the journey of self-forgiveness was just beginning. "Earth is safe," Wonder Woman said, her voice calm but tinged with emotion. "And so are you, Clark." But Superman knew the truth. True redemption would come only with time. The road ahead would be difficult, but he would walk it. And this time he would be sure to carry Earth with him, not just as a protector, but as a man who had learned from his mistakes. The end had come, but for Superman, the real journey was just beginning.